Good time of day, folks. This is Sharky Prodiver, and this is IB Survivor Diary. In PE, which is a subject taught in the IB and actually MAP program, which is basically gym, you must come up with an activity for your classmates for exactly one lesson. In other words, you need to be a teacher in PE for your classmates for exactly one lesson, 60 minutes. Which is a very fun thing to do for some people and a complete nightmare for the others. And my D-Day is this Friday, which is currently three days away. The filming date is Tuesday. And what I decided to do is not to make a regular sport, but come up with something on my own. So check this out. The sport is called the final wave, and that over here is supposed to be a shark, but that's kind of irrelevant. So, in a final wave you have three teams, and basically the two teams are competing with each other for domination, as it usually happens in all games in sport. And what you need to do is go to the other side of the field and score the goals. That is how the fields look. And as you can see, you have team 1 on one side, team 2 on the other side, and there is the middle area where the third team is, but about this a bit later. So, in order to play this game, you need a person in a PE outfit, so like shorts, running sport shoes, t-shirt, etc. And you also need a mat, which is a goal area, and you need a boxing glove, only one boxing glove per person, and you can either choose to put it on your right or your left hand. You can only use the boxing glove to touch the ball in the game, which I would recommend using a dodgeball, because football and basketball are a little bit too heavy, and dodgeball is a perfect one. So you're not allowed to touch the ball with your hand, your body, your nuts, your legs, whatever you want to try. Only the boxing glove. Mind you, that means you can throw the boxing glove around and bounce the ball, which is a really cool strategy to use if it works out, but most of the time it's cheap play. But still. So, what are the three teams? Basically, you have super original names, Team 1 and Team 2. And in the middle there are rogues. Rogues stay in the center of the field and can play for both teams, but a little bit later about those. In each team, beside the rogues are only composed of the second class player, there are three player types. The first one is the sentinel or the warden, and he basically guards the goal zone from an enemy team. The second type is the charger, and he actually goes into the field with the champion who holds the ball in order to score. And over here you can see a field layout, so you have two sentinels, about 4 chargers and 1 champion, 3 chargers in the middle of the field, and the same thingy on the other side. Now, how to score? In order to score, you need to stand up on the goal on the other side of the field. So if you're team red, you cross the field and go to your goal zone, and you stand on it holding the ball with 2 hands, which is the first out of 2 cases where you are allowed to touch the ball with not only the boxing glove. But how do you stop enemy players from scoring? Well, there is a system called blocking. Now, allow me to remind you that despite wearing boxing gloves, the physical contact is completely and utterly not allowed in this game. What you do instead is blocking. And for this, I want a little demonstration. What you basically do, if you see a person charging at you, you stand like this and you say block. Basically, it's similar to setting screens in basketball, where you stand in front of the person, so the person has to go around you. But in this case, the person just stays where he stays. He is basically frozen and cannot move, as well as you, because you blocked him or her. And there are 3 cases where blocking can occur. So basically those dots, arrow and circle are players, and that circle with dots means it's a blocking situation. 2 chargers can block each other without any problem, so it takes 1 charger to block another charger. With the champion, it's a bit different. The champions are special, and there are two ways to block them. You either need two chargers from your team to block one champion, which is a waste of people, or you have a sentinel or a warden, and a sentinel only needs, and you only need one sentinel to block a champion. That means that your team has two chances of stopping the ball from getting into the goal area. How do you stop blocks? So how do you make sure all people move again? Because when you block, all those three people, or in this case is two people, they just stay in front of each other until either the team scores or team loses the ball. So, now how the team loses the ball has to do with the following slide. So you have only one champion, but the enemy team has two sentinels. What does that mean? Basically means that you have two people to block one person, and this kind of makes the game a bit unfair, but there is a system called promotion, where a champion can pass over the ball to the charger, thus promoting the charger to a champion status. This is done by basically throwing the ball over to the charger, and that's the second case where a charger can receive the ball with both hands. So he doesn't need to, or he or she doesn't need to just go immediately into playing. There is a possibility of stabilizing the ball first and then going forward. Now mind you that promotion only works into the direction of the goal area. So if you're a champion and that's the goal area you need to go to, you can only throw it in this direction. You cannot go do it backwards, and you cannot do it sideways. It does not work. In this game, the team loses the ball and it goes to the enemy team. And the second way to actually, for the team to lose the ball out of three, is that some of the enemy players catch the ball mid-air. And the third way to lose the ball is when you go ahead and you just drop it, which also happens. Now, about the rogues. Rogues are chargers, but they can also carry the ball, but it will still take only one person to block them, because they are rogues. What rogues can do is they stand in the middle of the field, and it's usually, well, not too many players, 2, 3, maximum of 4 if the game is really big, and they can decide to which team they will go and help. So in this case, they can either pretend they can go to the team 1, but then they can switch sides and score to the goalkeeping area. Those are the rogues. Now that we're talking about the points, let's go to SS, that stands for scoring system and not Schutzstaffel. So you can either score a goal, which means you go to the opposite side of the field, and then you get 1 point. Then there is also a rogue goal, when rogues decide to help your team and they also go and score a point. This means that both the rogue team and your team receive 1 point each. Then there is a system called dubious ally. It's when rogues help both teams in the same game. Mind you, rogues are not exactly a team. They're more like individual players who are stuck together, and even though they are in one team, they can still decide to go to help two teams at the same time, or in different games. But imagine there is one game and the team goes to the opposite field, and out of 3 rogue players, 2 rogues help team 1 and 1 rogue helps team 2. And team 1 scores, so that means rogues only get half a point for being dubious allies. Now, once the match is over, it can either be a victory for one side, a tie, and this means that team 1 and team 2 play against each other one more time, but rogues are not allowed to interfere anymore. Then there is the rogue tie, when team 1 and rogues have the same amount of points, and in this case team 1 wins. And then there is also something called sloppy work. It has to do with the fact that rogues can work for both teams, but if they do it, the sloppy work happens, and in the end of the game they lose 2 points, while the opposing teams gain 1 point each. So, kind of to give a few hints and sum it up, if you're playing as rogues, there is no chance for you to win if you're playing for one team only. which means you must and have to play for both teams if you want to win. But what you must take into consideration is the amount of points other teams have, and make sure that when sloppy works come into play, you do not lose too many points to lose. Well, that basically was it. And to all the people out there, thank you for watching my video, and to all of my classmates, see you this Friday. This was Sharky Prodiver, and have a nice evening.